Bellwright throws a lot at you early, and if you're anything like me, those first few hours can feel overwhelming when you're trying to figure out what to build next. In this guide, I'll walk you through the first 5 buildings I recommend starting with. These are the ones that give you the fastest, smoothest start and set up your village for long-term success. We'll go over what each one does, what resources you'll need, and why they matter. And make sure to stick around until the end, because my favorite Tier 1 building completely changes how you gather and produce food early on. Let's dive right in. First is the Foraging Camp. You'll need 5 berries, 5 stone, and 5 mushrooms to research. And to build it, you'll need 6 logs, 12 wood, and 8 flax. This building allows one villager to gather basic materials like berries, mushrooms, herbs, flax, hemp, cotton, cranberries, and stone. I like to place my foraging camp near areas where these items naturally spawn, especially berries, mushrooms, and flax. Just be careful not to build too close, because a construction area can destroy nearby berry bushes or mushrooms when you place it. Once your camp is built, you'll want to set your top-up priorities. I usually set berries and mushrooms to top up at 10 each. Berries are great for food and traps, while mushrooms can be cooked or smoked for easy meals. Then there's flax and hemp. Top up to 30 each, since you'll use a ton of these once you unlock weaving and for building additional buildings. And finally, set up some stone. You'll top this up at 20. It's handy early on for crafting, but you can turn that off later once you have your mining camp running. Keeping your top-up quantities a little lower, like this, helps your villagers work multiple jobs each day instead of getting stuck on one building. You'll get steady materials without slowing down your early production. Once your foraging camp is running smoothly, it's time to focus on the next step, building your logging camp. To research your logging camp, you'll need 3 wood and 1 log. And to build it, you'll need 12 flax, 4 logs, and 10 wood. This camp allows one villager to gather both logs and wood automatically. You'll just need to supply them with an axe. I like to set my production to top up logs at 15 and wood at 30. Logs are the most important materials in the entire game. You'll use them for almost every building you construct. Just remember that early on, villagers can only carry 1 log at a time until you research better gear, so production will feel a little slow at first. That's why I keep it at only 15. I personally build the logging camp second because in the very beginning, you don't need a huge number of logs. And it's faster for you to gather them yourself, since you can carry 2 of them at a time. That is, until you craft the bag. Make sure to place your logging camp near a forested area, but keep in mind that once trees are cut, they're gone. Later in the game, you'll unlock a building that lets you grow trees, but for now, it's all about location. Researching the logging camp also unlocks the Stockpile, which is our next major building, and one that completely changes how you manage resources. After your logging camp is set up, the next building you want to prioritize is a Stockpile. To research it, you'll need 5 logs and 5 stone. And to build it, you'll need 5 logs, 5 flax, and 10 wood. I recommend placing this very shortly after your logging camp because logs take up a huge amount of inventory space early on. The stockpile is used solely for storing inventory. It holds up to 400 slots, but remember that not all items take the same amount of space. For example, 1 log takes up 9 inventory slots, while 1 wood only takes up 1. You can toggle on or off which types of items are allowed here, and I personally turn off food storage and build a separate chest just for food items. Once your stockpile is built and organized, you'll notice how much smoother your production loops become. Once your stockpile is built, the next step towards unlocking my favorite building is the mud collector. You can research it after unlocking the forager's hut. This building allows one villager to gather mud and peat, but they'll need a shovel to work here. You'll be able to craft the shovel at your workbench. You'll want to build your mud collector next to visible mud deposit. Your villagers can only gather what's within its range. As they work, there's also a small chance they'll dig up earthworms, which are a great early source of bait once you unlock the fishing camp. I set my mud top-up priority to 30, which keeps a steady flow for crafting without overwhelming the storage. Mud does slowly regenerate over time, but it's best to gather moderately so you don't deplete your nearest deposit too early. With mud now coming in, you're finally ready to unlock and build my favorite building, the fishing camp, which is one of the most valuable early game production buildings in Bellwright. The final building in this early setup is the fishing camp, one of the best ways to boost your food production and start making some real gold. To research it, you'll need 6 simple cord, 1 earthworm, and 4 wood. To build it, you'll need 8 logs, 16 wood, and 11 flax. Before villagers can work here, they'll need a fishing rod, which you can craft once you've set up your weaver's loom to make simple cord. Your other option is to purchase one from one of the fishing merchants. I don't include the loom as one of my favorite first buildings, since I mostly use it for gear upgrades, but you'll need it briefly here to get the cord for your research and rods. The fishing camp employs 1 villager and must be built right next to a water source to function. I like to build mine close to my main base so it's easy to manage early on. And my main base is built towards a large pond. Fishing produces fresh fish, which you can cook into meals like fish stew, which is my favorite early game dish. It's easy to make, restores energy well, and helps with productivity and experience gain. If you'd like to learn a little more about recipes and meal bonuses, feel free to check out my advanced cooking guide for a full breakdown. With your fishing camp completed, you'll have everything you need for a self-sustaining early game setup: food, crafting materials, and the foundations of trade. From here, you can expand freely, focus on your outposts, and refine your economy for gold. And that wraps up my guide on the first 5 buildings you should focus on in Bellwright. Following this setup gets you into the fishing camp fast, giving you a steady source of food, trade materials, and gold early in the game. From here, you can focus on expanding, producing better tools, or focus on your economy for long-term growth. If you're ready to take your fishing camp to the next level, you can check out my fishing guide next. It covers how to automate production, find pearls, and turn fishing into easy profit. Let me know down in the comments if there's another early game setup or building chain you'd like me to cover next. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to join the Gambit crew. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.